choosing your companies, you put a lot on management. What are your metrics in evaluating management?
We say all the time that we invest in people, not just buildings. And the idea behind that is that we're looking for businesses that have big growth opportunities. Other people look for those. We're looking for businesses that are appropriately financed. Other people look for that. We focus on competitive advantage. Few people do that. That means that something, a barrier to prevent other people from doing what you're doing, a brand, like Forbes, brand. And then we're trying to find someone, a leader, who is smart, hardworking, someone we trust, and someone who people will follow. You don't become successful in a business unless you inspire people, unless people want you to be successful. And so we're trying to find that kind of a person, an honorable, honest, hardworking, ethical guy or woman who can make their business become much bigger. And people don't pay for that. So they pay for what is, and we're paying for what is very similar to what other people are paying, but we're expecting to get much more in the future than we are today. And businesses that are growing penalize current profitability because they invest in their businesses, and when you invest in your business, you hurt current profits. So therefore, you ordinarily are able to buy growth companies for lower prices than you would ordinary companies, because profits are a little bit less than they should be.
And you talk about character in management. Obviously, you can't put a number on it. What are the things that it's an art? What are the metrics? How do you evaluate?
Well, I'm 68, and I've been doing this I've been an investor since 1970, and so that's almost 40 years. And in addition to that, it's what everyone does from the time they're a kid. So you know who you want to be friends with, you know who's the smartest kid in the class. When you're going to grammar school, you know who you can trust. And so you're doing the same thing. I've been doing this my whole life. Everyone does it their whole lives, except that my antenna are different than most. And so you're looking for certain aspects of a person's personality that show in how or evidenced in how he acts in his performance record. And the people who come up with the solutions and the ideas and the innovations, they're the people who are going to be the next Steve Winns and Charles Schwabs and Leo Malamud's from Chicago Merchants. This is an amazing country. This country, you can be someone like me, and you can start with nothing. And if you have an education and you have an idea, you can create something. And people say to me, so your children going to have, or children, young people now, going to have the same opportunities that you have. And I think the opportunities are going to be even better.
So what do you look for? I mean, in addition to the business idea, would you look for a certain type of personality? Yeah. Do you look for someone who's in it for the right reasons? Like, what are the things you look for?
Passion, hunger, ambition, intelligence, obviously. A person who has really spent a lot of time trying to perfect something, and they just need the business acumen or perhaps the things that I've learned. So I look for people that are really experts in a particular area, and they have such a passion for it, they're obsessed with it. And then I help them do all the other things that are very difficult, like raising money and so forth. Being a continuation high school student, which is an alternative school, dropping out in the 9th grade, never passed a math test or was never able to have any English proficiency. I finally found my way into college as a result of affirmative action. So I was able to get into community college, and then from there I got into a 4-year.
Why affirmative action? Because you were below the poverty line?
I was a foster kid.
A foster kid, okay.
So the government was my parental guardian, so I was able to leverage that. 5 years, I'll make enough of an impact that I'll be able to spend hopefully the rest of my life giving away my money with the same intentionality that I did making it. I've committed 95% of my wealth to charity, because I really believe our society has given me all these resources. Like, I'm the luckiest man in the world to be in America at this time, at this place, with this type of disruption occurring. And I have a son, 7 years old, and I think that I want to teach him how to earn money. I wanted my son to understand that materialism is not the right route. You have to learn how to earn it. Right?
Business right now.
Creating culture is the most difficult thing. I tend to be more of a strategic thinker, so I like to spend a lot of time alone, and obviously as a leader, be out there and you gotta talk to people and you gotta meet people and spend time with them. So I'm learning that and asking the right questions of those individuals, hiring people that put you in your strength zone and augment your weaknesses. So I'm trying to do it analytically because I made a mistake. I hired 500 people in a year. I think it went from 80 employees to about 500, and my culture got away from me and my structure got away from me. And next thing you know, I showed up to an office that I hated. I didn't want to come to work anymore in the very company that I own.
What advice would you give to someone who's in that situation now, a CEO? What do you do?
Tony Hsieh told me this. He said, slow down your growth at all costs, because growth covers mud. But as a startup entrepreneur, all you want is growth. When we got to 65 million a month in sales, I would hit refresh in my mobile app and I'd see $1,000 a minute come in, right? Like that's the dream. That became the nightmare. When you're growing that fast, you know, you start to think you walk on water, and next thing you know, I'm buying a Challenger 300 jet.
Slow down the growth, and do you kind of discipline yourself in terms of what to do with your resources?
Yeah. It's real easy to hire people to spend your money. So when you're making 120 million, every executive in the world wants to come and get that job and then hire 20 people and hire 20 people and hire 20 people. Right now I'm using a much more disciplined process in my startups, much more measured, and I don't spend any, I have an anti-waste policy on the inside of the walls.